Yes, sir. We're officially back at it. This is Boog Nice coming at you with the Soap Studio, The Dark Knight Trilogy, The Dark Knight Movie, Bank Robber Joker figure review. Let's do it.
This ain't for no scalper. You a scalper? Then fuck out shit. This one's for them real collectors. That's army building and posing figures. Marvel Legends, imports, mini Mayfield fucking with them. Hype beast, we know about you. Stay buying figs, don't know about it.
And a quick look at the box. On this side you can see it says Soap Studio up at the top, Dark Knight Trilogy, the Joker 112 action figure. Pretty much more the same on the other side. Box is a little dinged up. It came from Hong Kong. Let's get this bad boy. Let's stand this bad boy up. Alright, whatever. Let's lean him. Let's get this bad boy open. See what's what. Alright, here we go. Nolan-verse Joker. More specifically, Heath Ledger's Joker from the Nolan-verse, which is probably the best thing that DC has cinematically. I've said this before. Everything else is garbage. Not complete garbage, but Nolan-verse is definitely the best thing, and I think that the Dark Knight movie was probably the best out of the trilogy, and Heath Ledger's performance obviously was legendary. This is one of my favorite actual DC cinematic universe movies. So I think I've reviewed every figure that Soap Studio has put out so far. Pretty much all DC stuff. They've done some stuff from the TV universe and from the movie universe, and mostly Batman movie universe stuff. This is Heath Ledger's Joker from the opening scene of the Dark Knight movie. So this is the bank robber version. Soap Studio is a small company out of Hong Kong that's trying to come up. They've been doing their thing and trying to get better. I can definitely see some improvements, especially in this figure here. I'm quite pleased overall with this figure, actually. I can see some real improvements in the tailoring, and they did a pretty decent job here, I must say. So if they want to rival Mezco and other companies in the soft goods department, you know, it's going to take a little bit of time and some TLC, basically, some tender, loving care. And it seems like that's what they did here. Definitely an upgrade from some of the figures of the past. You know, the way the suit and the clothing and everything fits here is much better, and everything looks really good, man. I can't really complain about the look. Seems like he's still this figure's still on their basic sort of like slender buck, so it's very slender, but I guess this kind of lends to Heath Ledger's body type for the movie, so I'm not too mad at it. But everything here looks good, down to the sneakers. That looks great. I still think the hands may be a little oversized. And there's a look at that masked head, and that looks good. And you can see some green highlights in the hair, and fine details like the strap for the mask, and all of that looks good, man. I like the shirt underneath. I don't know if he was not wearing a belt though. I don't know what's going on here. I don't really like the way that looks, but overall, I'm pretty pleased with the way this guy looks. It's not bad at all. So out of the package, he has one hand which looks like it has the index finger extended, and his right hand looks like you can fit his weapon into the hand. So I'm gonna swap the hands first though. Quick look at these wrist pegs. I think these are different. I think they're using a new system for the hands. It was kind of tough to pull the hands off. It wasn't really easy. So let's see how they swap on though, the additional ones. So he's got a set of hands that look like they should be utilized to hold either his gas canister, which is in his right hand right now. He's also packed in with some grenades. He's got 3 gas canisters and 3 grenades, and these are the hands that look like they're the best suited for those items. Although on this left hand, it looks like the trigger finger is extended, and maybe that might work with his pistol as well. I don't know. We'll see. But these look fine. Again, I do feel like the hands may be just a little oversized, but maybe with the gloves, you know, gloves can make your hands look bigger. Some leather gloves like this, so maybe it's not too bad. And here's a close look at the grenade. It's pretty detailed. You know, it's fitted in there. Obviously, that wasn't a tight grip, but there's a closer look at the gas grenade or gas canister. There you go. And I missed a little detail there. So he has a wristwatch, digital wristwatch. So that's cool. You might be able to take that off and swap it on some other figure if you want, because obviously it is removable. So there's that. And then he's packed in with an additional set of hands that are both open, but you know, the right hand here is open a little wider than the left, so I utilize another one of his props that he's packed in with, which is a stack of money, and he's holding that. And then I use this other hand on his left arm to hold his bag, which is another accessory he's packed in with. So obviously you could sling it over his shoulder or have him just hold it by his side. Both of these things were obviously seen on screen in the movie. And then he's got an additional right hand that's kind of flat open with the fingers close together. And then I double back to the first hand that was attached to him out of the package, which I thought was the best suited for him to hold his gun. And you can see he's got the pistol with the extended magazine, or the extendo, as the kids are calling it nowadays. And that looks dope. That looks real good. And he's got one more additional interchangeable hand, which is another left hand that is similar to one of his right hands. I think all of the hands match up. I wasn't really paying attention, but he has 4 sets of interchangeable hands, and the bag and his gun, and then he's got a couple of interchangeable heads. So like most Soap Studio figures, it's the whole head and neck combo, and you can see that neck peg in there is very small. I'm not really a fan of that because it limits the articulation on the head and neck, being that it's all one piece, but I'll talk about that shortly. Take a closer look at this bag real quick. It's really nicely detailed and designed. The zippers do work, but it seems like there's just like a piece of styrofoam or something in there. I don't know that it's meant for you to really open it up. And I've had some horror stories with the zipper on some of the other figures from Soap, so I don't want to mess with this too much. I'm gonna leave it as is. It's good, it's compact, it's a nice little prop that can be utilized with other figures from other lines. I'm fine with it. I'm leaving it alone. And pardon me, there's actually only one interchangeable head, but he also comes with a mask, which I'll show momentarily. But here's the unmasked head, which I don't think looks bad, but I don't know that the likeness to Heath Ledger with his Joker paint and everything is that great. I don't know that the details here are good enough, but they're not bad. They look pretty good. I'm not displeased with this, but you know, I'm not over the moon about it. It's okay. And there's a look at the mask. So pretty nice props here. Obviously a lot of this stuff can be utilized with other figures from other lines. You know, I'm always looking at that. I'm always looking at my universe building and things that I can do to spruce up my displays and what have you. And obviously having a figure with soft goods, with cloth clothing, will lend to some other Mezco displays and maybe integrating the two. And that's where my head is at. Everything that I'm doing as far as presenting you with figures and telling you about them is pretty much ACBA centric. It's all about displaying. It's all about the ability to do toy photography, basically. At the end of the day, that's what it's all about. And I'm not mad at anything that I went through here so far. Soap Studio has definitely stepped it up with this figure. Now, let's talk about articulation. I do not like the head and neck articulation though. That whole head and neck combo as one piece is just not good. It's something that needs to be updated. The head needs to be separate from the neck so you can get a good range of motion. You know, once you try to get them to look down or up, it's gonna pop out pretty much. You can get them to look up by extending the torso, but that's pretty much it. So left to right, you don't even get a decent pivot really like that. So I don't like that. Arms will come up pretty far. Obviously, you don't want to do a full 360, but there is a butterfly joint in there. There's a ball joint at the shoulder. It's good range of motion. There is a nice deep double jointed elbow. You do get a swivel and a slight hinge on the wrist. There's upper torso articulation, abdomen articulation. Turn them at the waist, turn them at the upper torso. The legs would actually come up really far if it wasn't for the pants, but they do get a better range than most Mezcos, honestly. And a decent split and an upper thigh swivel and a real deep double jointed knee, and then you get a swivel and a hinge and a pivot on the foot and a toe joint, and I'm pretty sure these could pop off. Yeah, I probably shouldn't have pulled that whole piece out, damn it. But something different here is that I see they have like a fitted, oh, it's socks. I didn't even realize that. I thought that went all the way up. Wow, all right, so there's that. You can see the bare leg and then what's supposed to be a sock, I guess. But I have popped these shoes off of other figures before and used them as props and displays, so that is an option. Decent articulation, but I just don't like this here. I feel like this will keep coming down. I don't know what the deal is with this little purple piece of material back here. Was that something in the movie to signify that he was the Joker? I don't know. But Not bad for articulation, not bad at all. And real quick, there's a look at him without the jacket. So you can see how some of the proportions are, and you can see that these hands look a little large. But again, because they are gloved hands, he's got the big leather gloves on, it doesn't look as bad as some of the other hands from some of the other figures. All right, a few quick size comparisons. On the left is what was the Harvey Dent or the Two-Face Soap Studio figure that I kind of broke down and broke apart. I took his jacket off, put a Marvel Legends lab coat jacket on him, popped on the actual Bruce Wayne unmasked head from the 2-pack with the Bruce Wayne and Ra's al Ghul pack, and I was just trying to make some like makeshift scientists that I still haven't used in any display, but those are pretty much the same bucks there. You can see how they stack up, and on the right is the CW or whatever channel the Arrow TV show came on. But that's Arrow, and I broke the zipper to his jacket, so I could never zip it back up. But that figure was actually okay. It's just that I broke the zipper and pretty much ruined the figure. And then there's the Mezco Punisher, so you can see how one of Mezco's really buff bodies looks next to this slender Soap Studio body. And then on the far right is the Soap Studio Ra's al Ghul in his League of Shadows ninja uniform. And again, they're utilizing this really slender buck for everybody, so you know, it looks a little weird. I've had this guy posed in a pose that I just took him out of for the longest because I wanted to use him in maybe like a fight with Daredevil or something like that, the Mezco Daredevil. But this figure pisses me off because the arm keeps kind of popping out the socket here. So you can see that's just dangling. And that's an issue with some of these clothing figures, man, from Soap, that is. You know, it's a pain in the ass trying to put that back in. But yeah, as far as the size comparison goes, that's all fine and dandy. And then finally, we have the Mezco Jokers, both Jokers. On the left is the first regular release, and then on the right is the deluxe version. Probably two of Mezco's best tailored figures ever, especially the deluxe version on the right. So you can see how those look in comparison with the Soap Studio tailoring. And like I said, they've definitely stepped it up. Now, I wanted to obviously break out this Joker because I'm thinking about the Soap Studio version being a goon for the Mezco version, and I think that will work out just fine. And even that could work. So I swapped off Joker's head with one of the other heads from Mezco that has this sort of head and neck combo, which is Ash. And then I just prop the mask right on the front of there. You could just kind of sit it on there. It's not the greatest, but you can work it. If you find another head from Mezco that's a little smaller, then maybe you'll just be able to sit the mask right on there. But, you know, again, I'm universe building. I'm trying to build up my Joker goon army and see what's what. I got another idea too, but I'll save that for later. I'll flesh that out in another video, in a display video. So I don't like the head and neck articulation on this figure in particular. I feel like in some of the figures of the past, it's been a little better. I don't really like the way the pants fit at the waist, and I wish they were a little tighter. I'm a little nervous about those pants and the shirt coming untucked because it was an issue with the Harvey Dent figure. But I also was trying to go above and beyond and trying to kit bash and make a scientist and shit. So it is what it is. I do have a hard time standing this guy up. He's not as easy to stand as some of the other figures too. But overall, it's a good figure. It's one of their best figures. There's no question about it. He's got great accessories. He's got great posability, playability, fun factor. You can integrate him with other figures from other lines. Obviously, I'm quite excited about that. All of the Soap figures in general have great kit bashing possibilities because you can swap the hands and heads, and you know, it's all pretty much the same interchangeable parts. I need to go back and check the hands though. I'm a little nervous about these wrist pegs too. But overall, they got a good one here, no question about it. Before now, I'd say that Reverse Flash is probably one of my favorites. This guy is up there. This is one that I would recommend that you check out for sure, especially if you get two and you got two Joker goons with the Mezco Joker. It'll be lit. All right, so thanks for hanging out. As always, rate, comment, and subscribe, and until next time, peace.